I'm certainly a very outgoing, gregarious, social human being who really loves to learn as much as possible about as much as possible. Learning is integrated into every part of my life. And so is music. I really live and thrive for music, and I try and incorporate it into my school life. I try and incorporate it into my professional life and just my home life in general. I have many, many hobbies, including music and rock climbing and hockey and snowmobiling. And I'm sort of a all-around type of person who's very easy to talk to, and I love to talk to people about as many things as possible. And I really enjoy hearing other people's experiences in life and learning from them. I'll start off by saying I'm super hesitant about starting grad school online in general, just because I think I had people coming up to me being like, oh, that sucks. Like, you should be able to do in person, whatever. I was like, I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be fine. When I first got onto that first Zoom call, I was like, wow, there are very different types of people here. Like, I'm used to the people from undergrad in my very small genetics program, of like 19 people, knowing everyone. They're almost like all from Toronto or London. And then I jump on Zoom at U of T for grad school, and I was like, this is so different. We have professionals here, we have new graduates here, we have everyone in between. And it was a little bit overwhelming because the imposter syndrome was like really hit me hard. And I was like, there are doctors in my class. Who's to say that I should even be in the same room as these people learning? By the end of it, I had gotten over that. By the end of orientation, I knew that I was fit for the program. And I knew that they were only going to pick people who they knew would be good fits for the program. And I came out of it being like, okay, I can definitely do this. Very excited about it, and willing to really give it my all, because Joseph and Jana and Rich were so into it. And you could tell that they didn't want to just like get up there and teach you things. They wanted to learn alongside us. And that was something very different. That was something that got me super amped, super ready to learn, super ready to participate and contribute, and learn about my peers and learn about their lives and learn about my instructors and their lives and what they do and their extracurriculars, and tell people about my extracurriculars and get everyone involved in my life as much as I will be eventually in theirs. So it was certainly quite the whirlwind experience from beginning to end. I think it was a mixture of three things. It started with seeing how comfortable Rich and Joseph and Jana were with being online. I got the feeling, okay, I don't need to worry about this whole online thing. They've got it covered. Sure, it'll be a bit tricky at times, but these people seem really confident, and they had everything under control from minute one. That was number one. Number two was the breakout rooms, and getting to know my peers immediately. And then number three was the organic interaction with the instructors. I didn't feel like instructors were here, students were here listening to instructors. It was very much horizontal, right? We were all there for the same reason. Yes, there's certain people here who are facilitating learning. That's always needed, regardless of the context. But I'm not sitting in a chair listening to someone lecture at me, falling asleep, getting really bored, then not knowing what happened, right? We're all here together. We're all learning at the same pace, in the same way, and from the same people, right? And there was a lot to be said about being acquainted with the idea of that from day one, as opposed to undergrad, which is like, all right, you're sitting in a lecture hall of 700 people. Here's your syllabus. If anything goes wrong, here's the secretary's number / email, and don't bug me. I'm a professor and I have research to do. Leave me alone, right? Obviously, there are the odd anomalies here and there, but this was so different. This was, we are with you. You let us know anything you need to let us know, and we'll work through it together. Not I'll take care of it and let you know, is we will work through it together. It's already happened, already been part of that. And it makes me feel a lot more comfortable about me having control over my success in the program. Very simple answer. You went far beyond my expectations. That being said, I didn't go to any info sessions. So I didn't have any expectations per se, right? I said, I know that this is a different grad program. It's not traditional research, something very different with a very select few people. It's a small program and it's in the Faculty of Medicine, and I'm sure they know what they're doing. Boy, did you guys know what you're doing, right? Even throughout this ridiculous pandemic, you guys figured it out, and orientation went very smoothly. And that really solidified with me that I'm surrounded by a group of people who are totally competent, right? I often got frustrated in undergrad when, there were immature people during orientation or during day one when, some people are like, oh, I don't need to listen to the syllabus or whatever. Everyone was zoned in. Everyone was zoned in. Everyone wanted to know as much as possible. Everyone wanted to make sure that we were all well prepared and we were all acquainted with each other and with the courses, like the program structure and the difference, even small things like the difference between LMP and, how does LMP fit into the Faculty of Medicine? How does that fit into the School of Graduate Studies? All of those things were answered, right? And some of us are from U of T, so those questions didn't really exist for them. They knew it. And some of us were not from U of T and certainly wanted to know what part of the school are we in, right? And so I think overall it went unbelievably well, far surpassed my expectations. And I know that because I finished orientation and I went to my mom, I said, this is it. Like, this is the program. And so I think that's the best way to put it. I think the two biggest reasons was I know that the field of medicine is changing very quickly, and it's shifting away from let's just find out about as much things as possible about the human body to, okay, the things that we do know, how do we apply it? How do we actually bring it into a clinical setting? And my uncle's a physician, and I've had many talks with him from a genetic standpoint about incorporating genomic profiling into psychiatry. And he's like, yeah, it's all good and all, but it hasn't come to clinic yet. And I said to myself, that just doesn't seem right. There's so much information out there that could be utilized in better treatments, and yet it's not happening. And then I came across this program and I went down the rabbit hole of the TRP website and U of T and reading everything possible about the program and coming to the conclusion that this is my way forward. This is my way of teaching myself with incredibly intelligent people around me how to make that difference, how to make that change in medicine, if that is what I end up pursuing. The second reason I think plays into that, it seemed to be a program that drew on skills that I knew I already had, both IQ and EQ, right? And I think the EQ part was really the selling point, was that yes, grades are cool and all, and sure, they help you get into programs, but like it really doesn't matter that much. What matters more is the ability for me to talk to you effectively, for you to understand what I'm saying, for me to be able to persuade you that I have a good idea and it's worth listening to. Those are skills that I unfortunately think not enough people have, especially in medicine, right? I myself have had my own medical issues over the years, chronic issues, and there are just some physicians that don't get it, not the medicine. They don't get how to talk to me, right? They don't get how to communicate effectively with me and to empathize with me. I'm just the next patient to them. Those aren't innovators in my eyes. They are getting through a job that they have to get through, and they're probably not enjoying it. I'm very passionate about wanting to make change. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I knew that the TRP was going to help me find out the way that I want to do it. And that's why I applied. Human medicine is the goal. And how I think TRP is going to get me there, I know it will get me there. Not exactly sure how yet. I know that I've already met physicians in the program, and I've already started, like I said, alongside a peer, this healthcare practitioner support group. We've already had our first meeting, and it went really well. There are lots of people who do want to actually get involved in medicine. And I want to be there along with my other peers to support those people on the way to success. So much of medicine still seems to not be patient-centered. And I really want to shift the paradigm of the doctor-patient relationship. I think that's super important and a super under-tapped resource within medicine. I think that, actually, no, I know that the TRP will help me grow into an individual that understands to the fullest extent how important it is to involve the patient in the process of improving healthcare. At the end of the day, you can sit behind a lab bench and assume you know how that patient is feeling because you're looking at their cells, but have you really talked to them? Have you involved them in the iterative process of trying to come up with a solution that betters healthcare? Are you asking them, what do you think of this solution? Because at the end of the day, it's not the physician or the scientist that's really experiencing the change. It's the patient that's experiencing the change. So who are we to assume that we know what's best for them without asking them? I want to be part of that change because it's so necessary.